everybody in the room is a winner, because everybody in the room makes a difference for children, and that is extremely important. It makes me feel like I'm in the Redwood Forest, because I believe that I'm in the presence of giants, and I believe that's so important for us to recognize and appreciate what you do. I know that I'm between you and dinner, so I'm going to be very brief. But I'm going to tell a story and give a challenge. There's a little boy, this is back during the Great Depression. He delivered newspapers. As he was delivering newspapers, he made about 5 cents a day to do that. And he came to a place and there was puppies for sale. And he asked and these are purebred puppies, and he asked the owner, okay, how much are the puppies? He said, $50. At that point, people made about $1, $2 a day. And so that was just absolutely impossible. And he looked at the puppies and said, is there anyone else? Or do you have anything else? And a little puppy came out that obviously had mobility problems, obviously was not able to walk very well. And the little boy said, how much is that one? He said, it'll be 5 cents, but you don't want that one because it's worthless. And at that time, the little boy reached down and pulled up the pant leg and said, and it showed a series of braces and leather straps. And he said, it'll be okay. It's not worthless. You just need somebody to understand. When I was a superintendent, at the first of every year, I said to people that if you don't, said at opening convocations, there are kids that if you don't say something nice to today, nobody will. And so the challenge is that as we go through our day, as we go through our life, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's in life, whether it's in your family, let's all be that person who understands. Again, I congratulate all of you, and it's my privilege to be here tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Porter.
We are pleased that many veteran Kansas Teachers of the Year are here tonight. We thank them for providing the table centerpieces. As your name is called, please stand and remain standing, and please hold your applause until all have been introduced. Year 2000, Susan Rippey. Year 2001, Janet Kingsley. 2002, Tracy Callard. 2003, Ruth Wagner.
2008, Jerry Powers. 2009, Cindy Couchman. 2010, Karen Tritt. 2013, Diane Smokorowski.
2015, Dr. Shannon Ralph. 2018, Samantha Neal. 2020, Tabitha Rosepro.
We also want to recognize the 7 teachers who served with Tabitha Rosepro on the 2020 Kansas Teacher of the Year team. Would they please stand too? Tabitha's team.
Several dignitaries have joined us this evening. As your name is called, please stand and remain standing, and please hold your applause until all have been introduced.
First, from Senate District 52, Senator Brenda Dietrich. She's a former teacher, principal, superintendent. Brenda's here somewhere. Over there. Senator Dan Kirshner, farmer from Garden Plain. Where's Dan? He's supposed to be here. Oh, there you are, Dan. And by the way, he's been in the legislature. He deserves a gold star since 2009, I believe. And also Senate District 21 from the next area, the Honorable Dinah Sykes, Senate Minority Leader, right there. Give them a
Kansas,
hand. They deserve it.
Kansas State Board of Education members, Jim Porter, Chair and Member, District 9, Fredonia. Betty Arnold, District 8, Wichita. Jean Clifford, District 5, Garden City. Melanie Haas, District 2, Overland Park.
Dr. Dina Horst, District 6 from Salina, a former art teacher and 16 years in the legislature. Where you at, Dina? Okay. Ben Jones, District 7, Sterling. He's heavily involved with youth in theater and in church work. Jim McNeese, a former teacher, principal in the Sedgwick County area. Jim McNeese, District 10. And District 1 is the Honorable Janet Wall. She served 15 years in the board at Turner. Plus, she is the longest serving elected state board member in the history of this state. Right there, Janet. Janet served, I think, 22 years, guys. This next one, I ought to decorate this up a little bit more. The Honorable Commissioner of Education, Randy Watson, and his wife, Debbie. Where's Debbie at? Right there. You know what the word is, Randy, on the street? Word on the street is you had a heck of a time talking her into marrying you, and we wonder that also. Okay. Under the leadership of former U.S. Senator Nancy Casselbaum and Baker and the Board of Directors of the Kansas Foundation for Excellence in Education, we've established a permanent endowment for the Kansas Teacher of the Year program. The proceeds of this endowment fund is a one-semester ambassadorship for the Kansas Teacher of the Year. In 2022, the Kansas Teacher of the Year will be the 22nd recipient of the Hubbard Foundation Kansas Teacher of the Year ambassadorship.
Recognized as one of the premier programs in the nation, the Kansas program relies on the talents and efforts of many individuals. At this time, would members of the Foundation Board of Directors, the State Steering Committee, and this year's State Selection Committee please stand?
I want to recognize another person that's not here tonight, but he wanted to be, couldn't be here. But Bob Gass helped establish this program at the beginning. And for those of you that was around when Bob was involved, he helped us set up this foundation endowment, and a super guy. And there's two other people that never want to be recognized, but they're going to be. And that's our current leader, Denise Kaler, and Tamla Miller. I don't know, where's Denise and Tamla? Yeah. Tonight, by the way, this is considered one of the best programs in the nation. So a lot of work and a lot of the credit of this goes to the people that's involved in the program, our business partners. We'll talk about them a little bit later. Tonight's celebration is possible because of support from the Kansas Foundation for Excellence in Education and the generous contribution from businesses, organizations, and individuals. The names of those who invested in the foundation endowment are in this year's program as award sponsors, program partners, investors, table sponsors are listed on page 8 and 9. Take a look at that. I mean, that's pretty big deal. And there's some that have been doing that since we started the program. Pretty special. At this time, would anybody that's an investor, and as I covered the different categories, would you please stand? Yeah. Yeah.
Each Kansas university and college was invited to select 2 education students who show great promise as future leaders. These students have been designated as Kansas Teachers of Promise. This morning, they attended a workshop conducted by the 2020 Kansas Teacher of the Year team, and it gives us great pleasure to recognize these outstanding teachers of promise who will soon be entering the teaching profession. At this time, we would ask that the teachers of promise come forward to be recognized by Commissioner Watson. Each student will receive a special certificate identifying them as a Kansas Teacher of Promise.
We also, I just toss this in for free. We had a superintendent or two, and it kept growing. They want to know if they could pass out their business cards. They need teachers. And they want to do a little recruiting. Now, for those of you that like to take pictures, feel free to do so. You can come forward, take pictures of the Teachers of Promise. Representing Emporia State University. Kara Mason.
Congratulations.
Kelsey Wilson. Kelsey Wilson.
Congratulations. Representing Fort Hays State University, Jeremy Bright. And Laura Wolf.
From Kansas State University, Hannah Colderman. Kevin Thompson.
Representing Pittsburgh State University, Joshua Janes. And Veronica Long.
The University of Kansas candidates were Jackson Dismore and Ashton Mathis, and they were unable to attend.
Representing Wichita State University, Valeria Esparza. And Kiara Suarez Sosa.
Representing Washburn University, Reagan Calhoun. Daniel Cottrell.
Representing Benedictine College, Elizabeth Andronozzi. And Austin Murnau.
Representing Bethany College, Abigail Ruschel Barnett. Marcel Monetree.
Representing Bethel College, Addie Regier Kaufman. And Adam Croker.
Representing Friends University, Emma Gertz. And she was unable to attend. And Connor Silver.
Representing Newman University, Mackenzie Brown. And Julie Tabor.
Representing Ottawa University, Christina Thomas. Victoria Whitebread.
Representing Southwestern College, Kinsey Beeler. And Rory Ferris.
Representing Sterling College, David Gastad. Ardina Hirschberger.
Representing Tabor College, Olivia Dirksen, who's unable to attend, and Catherine Reimer.
Representing the University of St. Mary, Reagan Artod. And Christopher Hines.
Let's give all of these Kansas Teachers of Promise a hand.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may not know that Dale recently retired during the pandemic, and he's agreed to come back and MC this event. And if you could just give him a round of applause for continuing to be here. He gave out a lot of accolades about this event and everything that could take place. But let me just tell you, this event and the Kansas Teacher of the Year program would not be what it is, would not even be around if it wasn't for this gentleman. And so, if you don't mind, starting tonight, we're going to rename this banquet the Dale Dennis Teacher of the Year Banquet.
Probably not deserved, but truly honored. Thank you. Thank you.
Please enjoy your dinner and the conversation at your table.
Brent, let's do it.
All right, we are going to begin. If you could please take your seats. Known for his visionary leadership, Dr. Randy Watson's roots run deep in public education. As a former history teacher, school principal, and superintendent, Dr. Watson has dedicated more than 35 years of his life working in public education settings around the state and ensuring every child receives a world-class education. That dedication continues in his current role as Kansas Commissioner of Education. The Kansas State Board of Education named Dr. Watson Kansas Education Commissioner in November of 2014. And in his role as the state's Chief Education Officer, Dr. Watson provides leadership to the Kansas State Department of Education in carrying out policies and programs set by the State Board of Education. Currently, Commissioner Watson is leading the agency in the redesign of Kansas public education, fueled by the State Board's vision for education crafted in partnership with the citizens of Kansas. Dr. Watson is leading statewide initiatives designed to achieve this new vision that Kansas leads the world in the success of each student. It is my distinct honor to welcome Kansas Commissioner of Education, Dr. Randy Watson.
Well, good evening again, everyone. Welcome to the Dale Dennis Kansas Teacher of the Year. Oh, that's such a good ring. Such a good ring to it. And, you know, what an honor to be with you every year. And we have some outstanding people we're going to be recognizing tonight. Who would have thought, though, in our wildest dreams, that it would have taken us 18 months to put this thing back together again, right? Wow, what a ride. What a ride. And, you know, as we think about the pandemic, you know, when we look back, as Brent said, I'm a history, so I'm always trying to think, what are the lessons learned about this? I think it really teaches us that the moment that we're in is really the moment that we need to be in. Not worried about tomorrow, not certainly thinking about yesterday and all the issues that brought, but thinking about the moment. So just before Debbie and I came up today, we were playing with our granddaughter, and those of you that are grandparents know it's not a fake when people say it's the greatest thing in your life, because you spoil them and give them back to your kids, right? And it's so good. It's so good. But you know, she's 10 months old, and you know, she's walking, you know, and studying. She's learning. She's, you know, starting to talk some, and it's just this wonderment, right, of all the things that's going on in her life, and you just look and say, wow, it's going to be so great when she gets in school and gets to be a part of all of you here and the great teachers that we have. And so, you know, when I think about all of our kids today, we have this finite time with them. You know, it's just, whether we're an early childhood educator or we're teaching seniors, it's just finite time that we have, that we're trying to impact their lives so much. And so as we think about living in today, living in the moment today, we're not worried about tomorrow. And again, we're not worried about the past. It's this sense of urgency to bring our best today. The people we're going to be honoring tonight, Amber, Natalie, Amanda, Lisa, Megan, Kristen, Suzanne, and Lori, know that so well. They live that. They live it every single day. And as educators, you know, we create more than this academic success. We create this love of learning within kids. We do it by really making learning relevant and exciting, helping our students feel safe, valued, loved, cared for, and making it sure that they can dream about things that they want to do themselves. We do all of this by preparing students early for the realities that they're going to experience. And then as we think about them and we think about that journey that they're going to take on to young adulthood, even if we're teaching 4-year-olds or 5-year-olds, we're thinking, what is that going to look like? I was talking to a pre-K teacher as I was driving home this week, and she was telling me this really interesting young 4-year-old that she was still trying to figure out exactly what was ticking with him. A student not potty trained, a student that she says, I hope the kid isn't labeled a bad kid, because he's not a bad kid, but he has some things going on that we have to figure out. And I was just listening to this complex puzzle that teachers every single day put together in their classroom for all of their kids. This pandemic continues to weigh on us, even tonight, everyone in education. The uncertainty, the fear again, what happens tomorrow, the stress of quarantines and all the things that go along with that, and everything that we've experienced over the last 18 months. And it's like every day, teachers come to school with this weighted vest on top of the other things that we're doing. So please understand that I see that. State Board sees that. We understand that, and most importantly, we care about that. But the remarkable job that we're doing, seeing that progress that's going on, I wanted to just share with you some things that I shared recently as I went across Kansas. I just spent 6,200 miles going across Kansas to 50 different locations. And I shared on those 50 tours that last year, Kansas education hit a landmark. It hit the highest graduation rate in the history of our state. And it did that by also hitting the highest graduation rate for students that do not speak English. It did that by hitting the highest graduation rate for students that are on free and reduced lunch. We call that students in poverty. And it did that by hitting that mark with students with disabilities, the highest that we've ever achieved. That's a statistic that was done by the people in this room. By the people in this room. That's the culminating, right? But that's what a third grade teacher's thinking about. What's going to happen with this kid when they get to middle school? What's going to happen with this student if we don't intervene now when they get to high school? And then the joy, right? Whether you're a high school teacher or an elementary, of seeing that student really do well. And remarkably, even better than that, we've increased by over 4% the number of students going on to post-secondary education. 1.5 times that even our graduation rate. Think about that for a minute. As I said on the tour, where have you read that? In the media. It wasn't being reported until we started talking about it. You know, I pick up papers all the time and hear about how bad public education is in some sense. And it's just wrong. That's just wrong. Our system is not perfect. It's not perfect. But we're working so hard every single day to really impact the lives of kids. And we're honored tonight to get to represent the 45,000 Kansas teachers that do that work every single day. So tonight, we're going to live in the moment. We're going to shed those weighted vests. We're going to honor these 8 outstanding teachers that represent this really outstanding group. And we're going to celebrate this remarkable group of people that help us with the success of each child and lead the world. We're going to get to the state board's vision that's been already talked about tonight. And we're going to get there because of the hard work of Kansas educators each and every day in the classroom. Thank you for being here tonight to celebrate these people. We need to do it more often. We need to do it with more intensity. But tonight we're going to do it really, really well. Congratulations to the finalists, and thank you all for being here tonight.
Thank you, Commissioner. At this time, we have a special honor. Tabitha Rosepro is the 2020 Kansas Teacher of the Year, the 2020 National Teacher of the Year, has done an outstanding job of representing Kansas education at every level this past year. Tabitha has named the first Early Childhood National Teacher of the Year in 2020. I don't know if she realized this or not, but she is only the second Kansan who's been chosen as National Teacher of the Year. The last one we had, I believe, was in 1962. So it's truly an honor tonight to be able to have Tabitha here with us as a 2020 Kansas Teacher of the Year, National Teacher of the Year, and it's special. Thank you. Tabitha?
Yes, ma'am.
You guys are going to make me cry, and I haven't even started. Which mic am I using? Is it this one? That one? It's this one. Okay. I'm definitely a crier. But I am so thankful to be together with all of you here in person, and I'm so thankful that you are willing to respect all the safety mandates that are in place so that we can be here and celebrate all of the teachers like they deserve to be celebrated. But I will tell you something. Being back together in person has made me tired, both from just the energy of our group at this event and at school. I was on sabbatical all last year, working from home like many of you, and being back at school with kids, with school bells, with limited potty breaks, and my husband says if I call it potty one more time, he will be angry with me. I'm like, you need a potty before we go, honey? That's preschool, but, I recently moved from our longtime home in Winfield, which we miss a lot, to the Kansas City area in Olathe, which we also are loving a lot as the new place we're calling home. And in addition to just getting used to being tired every day, I've also become a very aggressive driver. You do not want to be near me, so watch out on the way home, everyone. But I've also transitioned into a new role. So I'm no longer a classroom teacher, I'm a support teacher, which is a coach specific to early childhood. And so now I'm getting to see from the outside what I knew all along, is that Kansas is full of incredible educators. Yeah, you're right, you can applaud that. It's incredibly rewarding, but a big part of my job is to support teachers in the classroom. And so I support 9 teachers right now, and I am in all 9 classrooms every week, and I'm real tired. And if you follow me on social media, you may have seen this story, and if you don't, you should, because you're missing out on some preschool gyms. I came home this week after a long time in one teacher's classroom and then another teacher's classroom in the afternoon, and I was like, I was sweating, I was limping inexplicably, like I'm not sure if I got sudden onset plantar fasciitis, I don't know. What happened? My bangs, I just recently got bangs and they were like sticking up everywhere. I had one pant leg rolled up and one rolled down. And I walked in the house and my husband said, "Did you ride your bike home from work or something?" And I just looked at him, but in the inside I was screaming, "No, Tim, this is what we all look like now." You all know. Somehow, the second year of the pandemic has been even more challenging than we thought it would be. And all of you are here, not only making it through, but excelling through this really difficult time in history. Are there any, you need to get that, it's okay. Are there any TikTok watchers in here? Who, like, you can admit it. I ask because I think I'm actually like kind of old to be watching as much TikTok as I do. But you can't put me in a box. No, you cannot. But there is a video of a guy, and I think about it all the time, and he like has these really big biceps, and he crushes an egg in between his bicep and his forearm. Have you seen that one? And then he says, "Built different." And he's just like, so tough. Pandemic teachers are built different. And that is all of you. You're doing things that we never thought were possible before. You're meeting the needs of your students and your communities. You've stepped up and you've learned how to teach from behind a screen, from behind a mask, and from a distance. You've made recommendations on how to open up after something we've never experienced in our lives. You've added your voices and you've asked for representation when it wasn't there. You continue to go through the ringer some days as we reimagine what schools can look like again. And you might look like you rode a bike through Kansas City traffic, but you are doing the dang thing. And tonight we celebrate you. I've been all over the country, sort of, from my office, and since I've been vaccinated, been traveling some more. And I just want to reiterate what has been said here tonight, that the Kansas Teacher of the Year program is, like many of our other initiatives in Kansas, it's held as the gold standard throughout the country. People are constantly asking me how we do things, how it works, how our teachers' voices are so elevated, what it feels like to be as celebrated as we are. The work we do here is noticed in a lot of places. And now our work gets to be known around the country, through the representation that we get through this program. I want to thank those that continue to make this recognition of outstanding educators possible. And I want to thank you, teachers, for pressing on, for elevating our students, our families, our communities, and each other. But I'm also here tonight to get a little bit of closure, if you can imagine. I had a lot of trouble thinking about what I was going to say in this speech because I don't know what to say to culminate the last 2 years that were full of some of the biggest joys and the biggest heartaches of my entire life. Will 2020 always be the year that was to people? And I don't know if you know this, but I'm also the 2021 Teacher of the Year. Has anyone else ever had two? Okay. But when people think this might be the year that was, it will never be the year that was to me. And it won't be to my team. Oh, see, look, I told you I was going to cry. Steph, Sean, Kara, Amy, Melissa, Julie, can you come up here with me? They did not know I was going to do this. I'd really like to end this thing how we started it, and that's together on this stage. Okay, built different, okay. These people here, I can't say enough about how we got each other through. We celebrated together, and we cried together. We worried, and we laughed, and we shared 2 of the hardest, most beautiful years together. When I was named the National Teacher of the Year, months before anyone else found out, do you know who the first people I told were? You're right here on this stage. That moment, in the basement of Friends University, The loudest cheer erupted from their conference room and disturbed many classes, I'm sure. And I wouldn't trade that moment for anything. We didn't get to complete our tour. We never got to visit Region 4. We never got to see everything Kara was so proud of in Andover, or the classroom inside the nursing home that I helped to build in Winfield. There are so many moments that passed us by, but together we created something else, and that was a family. So while 2020 to 2021 didn't turn out like we expected, I'm reminded of one of my favorite quotes. We were together, and I forget the rest. We want to thank all of you for giving us the chance to be back together again, to wrap up this experience, the most memorable K-12 experience that ever was. We want to thank the teachers of the year before us who have paved the way. We want to thank KNEA, and we want to thank Security Benefit and the Hubbard Foundation for all the support of the Kansas Teacher of the Year program. Many of you have also become our family. I thank all of you for honoring me the only way that Kansas could over the last 2 years. But tonight, this moment is for my team. Thank you.
Thank you, Tabitha. Now we get to meet this year's 8 finalists for 2022 Kansas Teacher of the Year. Please feel free to come forward to take pictures.
Region 1, elementary finalists. Suzanne Stevenson is a 4th grade teacher at Beeson Elementary School in Dodge City. Susan has taught for 7 years. She has authored, been awarded several grants that bring diverse and authentic learning experiences to the students in her building. She has a love of working with bilingual and newcomer students. Her passion for equal opportunities and high standards of achievement for all students drove her to further her education so she could better serve the diverse populations of her community and school. Ladies and gentlemen, Suzanne Stevenson.
Thank you, everyone. While it's very difficult to follow Tabitha, I'm going to do my best. I want to tell you a story tonight that's very near and dear to my heart. I wonder if any of you in this room have ever taken a close look at a coconut. Having lived in Kansas my entire life, this fruit is very foreign to me. The outer shell feels rough. It has nicks and bruises from its journey to get to me. It's very challenging to crack open, but if you listen carefully, you know that there's something incredible on the inside. An encounter with a student who, for tonight's purposes, we'll call David, changed my perception of coconuts. David entered my 4th grade classroom with no prior schooling, a language barrier, and an unknowable amount of trauma. Despite his apparent deficits, David had a wealth of knowledge that he was ready to share. It took the simple act of bringing a coconut into the classroom to bridge my world with David's. His funds of knowledge allowed him to share, teach, and inspire not only himself, but me as well. This moment is one that will stick with me forever, and it made me wonder, how often do our culturally and linguistically diverse students feel just like that coconut? They may not look the same as the others in their class. They may have nicks and bruises from their journey. They may feel they're in a foreign place and like they're very tough to crack open. But each and every one of them has something valuable, worthy, and important to share. It's our job as educators to crack open that coconut and allow our students' voices to be heard. And once we've cracked open that coconut, there's no telling what the next chapter will be for ourselves or our students. Thank you.
Amber Carrithers, Region 1 Secondary Finalist. Amber Carrithers is an English language arts teacher at Hutchinson High School. She has taught for 7 years. Amber is a firm believer in breaking down the walls of a classroom and incorporating real-world tasks and cross-curricular activities into her teaching. She prioritizes instruction which delivers not only knowledge, but also grace and compassion. Her classroom is a safe place for all students. She believes in teaching the whole student intellectually and emotionally. Amber is a firm believer in constant improvement and strives to model this growth through her classroom leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, Amber Carrithers.
I'm just going to be real. I'm super nervous. So I just want to get that out there. So, all right. As I was thinking about why I teach and what defines me as an educator, I kept going back to the words of John F. Kennedy's 1961 moon speech at Rice University. He states, "We choose to go to the moon in this decade and to do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard." Through these words, Kennedy captures the true essence of the human spirit. These words can be transformed and applied to the reasons why educators are committed to this profession. For myself, I choose to teach not because it's easy, but because it is hard. I accept and face the daily challenges, the circumstances, situations, and hardships that my students endure because I know that the room in which I teach may be the only safe place for them. It may be the only consistent environment, and my welcome may be one of the few warm smiles they see. I believe in the human spirit that Kennedy illustrates and how it can be applied to understanding the heart of educators. Having hope and compassion, being persistent, building resilience and understanding, and knowing that in times of frustration and weakness, we are made strong. I may not be tackling the challenges of modern rocketry, but I'm facing even greater giants that exist in day-to-day life. As an educator, my teaching and my leadership skills come from a place of great love, and when needed, a place of tough love. As a first-generation college student, I know the struggles, the fear, the worry, and uncertainty of what the future may hold. However, I know that being grounded in faith and having a secure support system has brought me to the point where I am today. I want to be that person I needed when I was younger to my students. I read a quote once that said, "Your profession is not what brings home your weekly paycheck. Your profession is what you're put here on earth to do with such passion and such intensity that it becomes spiritual and calling." Being an educator, helping students learn academically and grow emotionally is my calling and my life's mission. If one student walks out of my classroom a better person than when they entered, I know I've been successful. I know I wouldn't be here tonight if it weren't for those who show me love and support, my family, friends, the amazing people at Hutchinson Public Schools, my students and their families. I appreciate all of you who have helped me, prayed for me, and most importantly, believed in me. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Region 2, elementary finalist Megan O'Neill has been a fourth grade teacher at Lincoln Elementary in Ottawa for 5 or 8 years in education. Megan says, "I want all of my kids to grow into thoughtful adults who are capable of thinking critically about information and are problem solvers who will be the change in our world." A former student says, "She takes time and effort to learn and to understand each and every student and what makes them tick. That's not just a good teacher, that's a good person." Miss O'Neill has been someone who has looked up to greatly in my life, and that she's pushed me to be better. Please welcome Megan O'Neill.
All right, so I'm going to admit that I have my remarks prepared, but your comments have reminded me that I do need to honor my past, so you can understand why I am here in the present. So I am very pleased to be here with my family and my friends and my colleagues, both here in person and virtually. I know they're having a watch party at home, so thank you so much for your support and, quite frankly, your sacrifices to help me be here. So as a teacher's kid myself, I grew up in the education system, and despite those challenges that I saw, I decided that I wanted to be a teacher. And I knew I wanted to be a teacher from a very, very young time. I love learning, and I love sharing my joy of learning with others. School for me was that happy place where I could go and I could learn, and I could feel like I was going to take something away. And I know that as a student you feel that, and I know that you see that in your students' faces. So this is where I'm going off script just a little bit. So you mentioned a student that I had, and her name's Taylor. She's fantastic. She's grown, so I can say her name. And she wrote those things about me, and they still touch me today. And knowing that I have made a positive impact on kids like her and the kids that are in my class today, it's changed who I am. It has formed who I am, and I am so blessed to have had them in my life. Because without them, I would not be on stage today. So, thank you all for those of you who are teachers. Thank you all for those of you who are administrators, superintendents, because you're the reason why this can happen today and why we can celebrate Kansas educators today. So, knowing all of that and my kids that you mentioned, those are the reasons why I keep coming back to education. Even after the days of frustration when you just want to pull your hair out, and even after a year, and then some of COVID, we still keep coming back. And for that, we all deserve accolades. So the reason, again, that I am a teacher is because of my students, and that I can cultivate that safe and happy place where they want to come and where they want to participate in the love and joy of learning. And I know that I can make a difference in their lives. So I would be remiss if I did not give a shout out to my fifth graders, because they told me that I needed to mention them. So hi, students of Classroom 417. So thank you so much, and I look forward to the continued opportunity to serve and to represent Kansas as a region finalist, because I am blessed to get to learn from all of the rest of you, because you share your joy, and you have shared your joy the last few days with me. So thank you so much for inspiring me, because I feel invigorated and ready to tackle some pretty amazing things this year. So thank you for the honor of representing Region 2 as a state finalist, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Lisa Martinez, Region 2 secondary finalist. Lisa Martinez has spent her entire 15-year teaching career at Seaman High School in Topeka. The Seaman Director of Secondary Education says, "I am in awe of Lisa's energy outside and inside her classroom. She provides an engaging classroom experience that inspires students to continue to pursue their second language development beyond the classroom and school." A former student recalls, in addition to her engaging Spanish classes, her contributions to her students in the Seaman High School community outside the classroom have impressed me and countless others who have had the privilege of interacting with her. Please welcome Lisa Martinez.
Good evening. Whew. So first and foremost, I am so grateful for the honor to be able to experience a level of this profession I hadn't considered to be within my reach. I hadn't considered it to be within my reach because I feel like I still have so much to achieve in order to become the educator that I aspire to be. But as many of us have heard over the last few days, life has a way of moving us around to exactly where we need to be. Psychologist and author Adam Grant said, "When we're determined to reach an objective, it is the gap between where we are and where we aspire to be that lights a fire under us." Of course, there is no amount of aspiring that can be realized without advocates and allies whom I found in my incredible, valuable family, friends, colleagues, and administration. When I entered the classroom, I aspired to create a safe, fun, and relaxing environment in which all my students felt welcome. I aspired to manage my classroom effectively and to confidently deliver my content. I aspired to continue my education and then aspired to find a way for my high school Spanish students to get college credit for their work. I aspired to create a Spanish class for Spanish speakers. And I aspired that they could be lifted up for their language superpowers by earning the Seal of Biliteracy Award. Going forward, I aspire to lift up phenomenal young people. I aspire to support equity and inclusion by actively participating in efforts that are geared towards achieving those goals. I aspire to model empathy so that my students may feel and show empathy for others. For many of us here tonight, this process so far has shown us that our former aspirations have become our achievements, and seeing others succeed fuels our drive to aspire further. So I am so thankful for this moment and for the experiences ahead and for everyone who I know is standing with me. Thank you.
Region 3 elementary finalist, Amanda Kidderling. A library media specialist at Bonner Springs Elementary. Amanda believes that to reach the untapped potential of a child, you must first understand them as individuals, then teach them to advocate for themselves. Active on the Building Lighthouse and Leadership Action Teams, Amanda is a strong voice in her community, mentoring colleagues as well as students to help them discover their own strength. Amanda's principal says, Amanda has stepped up and helped to lead our implementation of the Leader in Me program, create opportunities for these students to serve as leaders in our school and community. She is a true servant heart. Our students respond to her positive ways to help her special style of leadership. Please welcome Amanda Kidderling.
Okay, I'm very nervous too. So, first off, I would like to say that I'm honored to be part of the 2022 Kansas Teacher of the Year group. I've met so many amazing and talented and passionate people these past few days, and I know that we are already forming bonds that will last a lifetime. I wanted to say thank you before I start the rest to my mom and dad who cannot be here today, and my stepmom and my stepdad who also can't be here today, and my boys, because they would be on their phones if they were here anyway. And thank you to my husband who is here manning the fort and all of my lovely friends and mentors that came. I'm not sure about all of you, but it feels really strange to be speaking in person today. I spent nearly all last year teaching library, media, and third grade remote students all at the same time through Zoom. Out of instinct, I kind of find myself at wanting to go, can you hear me? Thumbs up or thumbs down. 2020, 2021, what a crazy roller coaster ride that was for everyone. Now that a new school year is starting, I am so glad that the ride is finally slowing down. But I'm sure we're going to experience a lot of bumps and turbulence along the way. But as the saying goes, please do not take your seatbelts off until the ride has come to a complete stop. This year will be a journey of new challenges as we try to fill academic gaps and meet the social and emotional needs of all of our students during this pandemic. It will take an entire village, all of you, to do that and create a new normal for our students' academic adventures. As we embark on a new school year, I challenge all of you to focus on 3 things. First, build those genuine relationships with your coworkers, with your families, and most importantly, with your students. If you don't first secure their hearts, you don't have a shot at their minds. Next, believe in everyone's potential. Every single student has potential. They are all imperfectly perfect. And they need to know that you are their personal advocate. It's our job as educators to take the time to get to know them as individuals, find out who they are and where they want to go, and just jump on that journey with them. Last but not least is to show grace. We are all human, and it is so important to accept that we all make mistakes. Show grace to your coworkers, your students, and most importantly, to yourself. We are all a work in progress. As a librarian, I get a lot of my inspiration from books. So I'm going to end with a quote from the author Bob Goff. Embrace uncertainty, because some of the most beautiful chapters in our lives will not have a title until much later. Thank you.
Natalie Johnson-Berry, Region 3, Secondary Finalist. Natalie Johnson-Berry teaches English to 9th and 12th grade students at Shawnee Mission North High School. She has been teaching for the last 21 years. Natalie is a member of the Greater KC Writing Project, is a building and district site council representative, and has created and founded the Black Student Union at her school. Natalie Johnson-Berry believes wholeheartedly that the best teaching practice is culturally responsive, authentic instruction that centers around student choice. Her principal, Dr. Jeremy Higgins, says, not only is Natalie concerned with the improvement of her students, she also takes a great deal of pride in her own personal improvement and learning. Her unrelenting quest to further her education and fulfill leadership opportunities have proved beneficial for both students and staff at Shawnee Mission North. Ladies and gentlemen, Natalie Johnson-Berry.
Hello, everyone. I'm just overwhelmed with pride to be here this evening. And I want to tell a little bit about how I grew up. Sometimes the stories we need to tell are often the stories that we just don't tell. But I want to follow the advice that I give my students in room 107 and be a little vulnerable and brave to tell my story tonight. I grew up with 2 hardworking parents out here today, Ed and Donna. And with my extended family, they helped establish one of the few African-American dance studios in Missouri. Now, neither one of my parents had what you call a formal 4-year college degree, but they pursued education to the fullest. They built a work ethic in me for learning and a love for it. My mother would sit me down at the kitchen table and she would say, Natalie, Sometime in society, when things are unfair, you got to roll up your sleeves, girl, and work twice as hard as the person next to you. Both of them shared wisdom that they gained in overcoming segregation. My mother became the first black secretary at what used to be called Mobil Oil Corporation, and my father, the first black computer operator for that same company. He also accidentally and successfully invaded a lunch counter in Alabama. You can clap if you want to. Thank you. Their mantra of working twice as hard in spite of the odds has always resonated with me, because to this day I work 2, 3, and 4 times as hard to reach all of my students. Because of that foundation, I really value education, and I also remember the teachers that never gave up on me. As a child, I was over the moon crazy with going to school at St. Therese Little Flower. Every Wednesday, we would go to Mass with Father Shuley, and my love of learning was just so contagious that I was that kid. If my teacher said, write a 5-page story, I'm an English teacher, so you can guess what's coming. I wrote 10 pages. If it was anything involving poster board, I was the glitter queen, all over it. When school was not in session, I still wanted to go to school, even if it meant that I got to wear my brand new pair of Jordache jeans. So for those of you that are a little bit younger, think of Lululemon leggings. Mainly, I loved going to school because I had teachers who always championed me. They supported me even when my ideas were just terrible. I once wanted, in 8th grade, to install a curtain from the center, the middle of the classroom ceiling, and my English teacher, she was like, good job. I also wanted to do a journalism expose of the horrible cafeteria food. And instead of them making me think my ideas were fool's gold, they made me think they were real gold. However, by the time I reached high school, my junior year, I was at a brand new high school, and education became really dark for me. I didn't want to go to school anymore. I had anxiety. I had depression. I was severely bullied. I was a member of the student council. I was on the cheer team. I even acted in plays, and from the optics, it looked like I was doing really great. I looked really successful, but I wasn't. I didn't have a home place. But in those moments, there were teachers who championed me. Miss Roberts, she would not allow me to shrink into myself in her English class. I learned to express myself in writing. She put my slam poetry to the stage, and she had me thinking I could be the next Maya Angelou. Mrs. Dixon taught me to channel my anger of injustices into social activism. Today, I'm an equity leader in my district, and as you heard, founding sponsor for the Black Student Union, and I'm on a school board because of that influence. I used to be this scared little bird. I was afraid of my own ideas. I felt ugly. I felt insignificant. I didn't feel empowered, but they empowered me. And I want everybody right now to think of your Mrs. Dixon. I want you to think of your Mrs. Roberts. You are who you are today because of them. Because of the love for those teachers who stood by me, I have a heart for all of my students today, from those that are battling depression, anxiety, those who think they are not worthy, that they aren't smart enough. I have a heart for the teachers who hide in the corners, who are the outcasts, who skip our classes, who vape in the restrooms, who are on out-of-school suspension, who are angry, who dislike school, who feel marginalized, and those who, like me, felt small, ugly, and insignificant. I'm a teacher for everyone. And you know what? Believe it or not, as teachers, we have the capacity to make an impact on students that simply can't be measured. I am Natalie Johnson-Berry, AKA Miss JB, in room 107, and this is a little bit of my story. Thank you.
Region 4, elementary finalist Laurie Tisius. She has a passion for literacy, global thinking, diversity, and technology. She has taught both 3rd and 4th grade for 29 years in USD 268 Cheney. She also sponsors student council, recycling crew, and the Pride team. Respect, integrity, dependability, and perseverance, and empathy. She has 3 simple words: spark, grow, connect. Though her Disney college program experience, Laurie has inspired daily to bring the magical pixie dust, pixie dust, spark into her teaching. One of the many ways this happens, we need more of that pixie dust. Senator Sykes, we could use that in some in Topeka, too. One of the many ways this has happened is through an annual Grandparents' Day event, and also by being students find themselves in literature by using windows and walls as a method of reflection. Please join me in welcoming Laurie to see us.
Thank you. People may have asked you what your purpose in life is. Teaching is my purpose and passion. Ask me about my classroom and I could talk to you for hours. Reading, writing, math, science, social studies, technology, reading out loud, art, I love it all. But you know what I love most? The children who greet me every morning. The former students who stop by to give me a high-five, hug, or handshake before heading to their new classrooms. The middle school students who stop by to share their struggles and their triumphs. The grown-up students who are now business owners, welders, pilots, teachers, paras, and stay-at-home moms. My purpose is to help kids grow and discover their purpose in their life. I have friends that have nicknamed me Tigger, and I thrive on energy and engagement in the classroom. I strive to have my kids up and moving and completely engaged in their learning. My days are filled with callback responses, kinesthetic movements, flexible seating, classroom transformations, student projects, small group learning, partner work, individual writing, and a whole lot more. There is never a dull moment in my classroom. I strive to make connections to the world with the students in my classroom. Some days we bring the world into our classroom, maybe with talking to a national park ranger as we study the regions of the United States. On other days, we share out to the world by Skyping with other students around the world to share our thoughts on a common book that we are reading as a class. It is my hope that these relevant connections will spark a future passion in their lives. Yesterday, we were asked to write down the names of influential giants in our lives. My page was full and overflowing. My family, my friends, my coworkers, administrators, community members, the list goes on and on. There are so many people that have influenced my life, and what I teach in the classroom every day is because of them. There is no way that I could name everybody. I want to thank all of you who have helped me grow to become a better teacher and a better person. Know that I carry you in my heart each and every day. I am who I am because of all of you. My teaching goes back to all of you and everything you have done for me and the children I get to teach every single day. Thank you.
Kristen Salazar. Kristen Salazar, a business and CTE teacher at Eisenhower High School in Goddard, is the Region 4 secondary finalist. The daughter of a Kansas educator, Kristen began developing a passion for the teaching profession at a very early age. Having taught Computer Applications 1 and 2 courses for years, Kristen has encouraged her students to work toward a Microsoft certification, noting that when a student receives an industry-recognized certification, it has both job and monetary benefits. More than 200 certifications have been awarded since the implementation of this certification program. Her involvement in Business Professionals of America has made the EHS organization a force to be reckoned with, according to her administrators. Please welcome Kristen Salazar.
Good evening. My name is Kristen Salazar, and I am a business and a career technical education instructor at Eisenhower High School. Being a CTE teacher is one of the most exciting teaching jobs one can have. I compare it to a quote, the quote that life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. It is so true because I never know what classes I'm going to be teaching, what classes are going to be layered, what students I'm going to encounter. Regardless of what I'm teaching from quarter to quarter, one thing never changes. I love making connections with students. I have a superintendent who reminds us that this each and every year, that we have 1,400 hours to make a difference in a child's life, and this is so very true. I make a point to ask how my students, how they did in a sporting event, how a play went, how their work went the night before. Relationship building is a key to having a successful school year. Students do not care how much you know in a content area, but they sure do want to know how much you care about them. I learned the following last year about some of my students, so I wanted to share. One young lady has over 25 wigs in her collection, and she wears them a different one each day. A young man races cars at 81 Speedway in the modified class. He has a 377 small block engine, which I have no clue what that is. He has many sponsors and has raced for 3 years. He has won the Hutch Nationals back in the summer of 2020. In fact, I went and watched him race last weekend. You just never know how you will impact a child's life. Simple gestures go a long way when building relationships. I would encourage each of you to learn something new about your students each week, or watch them participate in an outside activity. I'd like to thank my friends and family for always supporting me in my endeavors. I would also like to thank my amazing school family here in attendance tonight. It's a wonderful feeling when you work for a district that supports you 100%. Thank you.
Please join me in recognizing these 8 exceptional teachers. One big one. Well, Commissioner, it's your honor and privilege, and I'm nervous as a frog on a freeway. You get to announce the 2022 Kansas Teacher of the Year. It's all yours, partner.
Wow. Tabitha, come up here and join me. Yes, you may. Here is the envelope. And we don't know, but we're going to scream it out together.
Okay.
All right? What's really cool about this is that as Tabitha had her team up here, we really stress is that this team's going to be together all year. We have to choose one of these individuals to go represent Kansas at the national level. But the team's going to be together, and this one's going to be our Kansas Teacher of the Year. So, we're going to read it together.
Okay, let me look at it first.
All right. You ready? 2022 Kansas Teacher of the Year is Suzanne Stevenson from Dodge City.
In 1992, the Kansas Board of Regents authorized and approved a scholarship program for the Kansas Teacher of the Year. Since then, Washburn University, Baker University, Bethany College, Kansas Wesleyan University, Mid-American Nazarene University, Tabor College, University of St. Mary, and Webster University, Kansas City have joined with the Regents universities in honoring this scholarship. Kansas Teachers of the Year, past and present, are awarded up to 9 hours of study each year at no cost at one of the participating colleges or university, provided they continue to teach in Kansas. At this time, Dr. Jill Gonzalez-Bravo, Department Chair of the School of Education for Mid-American Nazarene University in Olathe, will present this special scholarship award to the 2022 Kansas Teacher of the Year.
On behalf of all the sponsoring universities, it is my great privilege to honor you with this scholarship, and I hope it encourages all your lifelong learning endeavors for years to come.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm pleased to recognize Security Benefit Corporation of Topeka. They're a phenomenal company. And I'm going to tell you why. But when it comes to helping teachers, educators, they're one of the best. They're the chief corporate partner of the Kansas Teacher of the Year program. Since 2000, the company has made an annual contribution of $28,000 to the program. That translates into contributions in excess of $600,000. Pretty good chunk. These funds are used to provide cash awards to the Kansas Teacher of the Year and the finalists and help underwrite the 4 regional banquets. Tonight, the company will present a cash award of $4,000 to the 2022 Kansas Teacher of the Year. It's my honor to introduce to you, this time, Chad Leibe. Mr. Leibe is currently the head marketing communication person for Security Benefit in Topeka. He's responsible for marketing communications and brand development efforts of the firm. He also has more than 20 years of experience in marketing, promotion, creative development, and has worked within the retirement market at Security Benefit for nearly 15 years. Most of all, Chad is married to Sandy, who is a teacher at Pauline Central Elementary School in 437. Please welcome Chad Leibe. Chad?
Wow, what an evening. This has been great. It's great to see you all again. You know, Dale, I got to tell you, there's one thing I noticed about all the educators in the room that something they have that I just don't have. It's hair. I'm really jealous. So maybe I should have changed my profession a long time ago. At least maybe I would have had a better haircut by today. So
You may want to check at the end of the school year the way it's going.
Well, what a great evening. And congratulations to all of the Kansas Teacher of the Year finalists. Security Benefit is honored to be part of the Kansas Teacher of the Year programs and helping it to become one of the best programs and Teacher of the Year programs in the country. I've been part of the Security Benefit team for over 15 years. I've hosted and been on the stage a few times, and we work with thousands of independent financial advisors and their clients and educators all across the country. And for most of us and our teams, virtual meetings have pretty much been the norm for probably 8 or 10 years. We've been used to this kind of idea. But about 18 months ago, a little company called Zoom became a household name, right? And Zoom also meant school is in session at home. Now, over that last year, Zoom meetings, well, they become the norm. And in fact, in April 2020, Zoom reported that they had 300 million people logging onto their platform every day. 300 million people were logging on. Many of them were you, your students, administrators, trying to communicate for the first time in a way you probably never, ever experienced technology like that before. Now, we understand that the challenges educators often face, they're often trying, they're difficult, they're frustrating. And when you add a global pandemic, well, teaching and educating children likely felt like nearly impossible. What you've accomplished despite it all is simply remarkable. And while we could have, and probably should, spend hours tonight talking about all those challenges and all your successes, we believe that there are two simple words that you simply probably haven't heard enough. On behalf of the 2000 Security Benefit Associates, we want to say thank you. Thank you for helping our children, my children, to be successful in the classroom. Thank you for adapting, changing, and learning new ways to reach our children outside of the classroom. Thank you for developing those new skill sets as IT professionals when your students and their parents and their grandparents says, hey, do you know my Wi-Fi password? And a little trick, my wife told me many times, they just said, try password, so it often works. They all needed that extra hand getting logged into those iPads, those laptops, those Chromebooks. And even though your school districts, administrators, school boards continue to have to make difficult decisions during this time, amongst all of that political discourse, we want to say thank you for your steadfast professional conduct and leadership in our children's lives. The Security Benefit family says thank you for all that you've done over the past 18 months. And tonight, to all of our regional finalists, thank you for your unique approaches and your dedication to our students. And to our 2022 Kansas Teacher of the Year, thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Chad. Suzanne, by the way, you'll find out you may have more friends than you thought. We appreciate Security Benefits support and look forward to our partnership with you in many years to come. At this time, we invite the Kansas Teacher of the Year to make some comments. The mic's yours.
First, I want to say thank you to those of you that have supported me. First and foremost, Miss Martha Mendoza, an outstanding leader and advocate for our culturally and linguistically diverse students who saw that in me and nominated me for this. I thank you for that. To Fred Dirksen, our superintendent in Dodge City Public Schools, who couldn't be here tonight. Thank you so much for building a community that I am so proud to serve and to represent. Thank you to my family and my friends who are here tonight to support me. I love you. As you get to know me, you'll learn that I'm kind of a storyteller, and I would like to use this platform to lift up my students because this profession is not about me. It is about the kids that I serve. So you get to listen to another story about one of the kids that is very near and dear to my heart. During the London 2012 Summer Olympics, swimmer Michael Phelps competed in the men's 100-meter butterfly finals alongside rival Chad Leclos of Russia. As with any event, tensions were high and expectations were even higher. The race lasted for less than 60 seconds, and it was extremely close between the two competitors the entire way. In the final seconds of the race, Leclos made an absolutely unforgettable error. He turned his head to look at Phelps in the next lane, just before touching the wall at the finish. This error cost Leclos the win, and Phelps went on to earn yet another gold medal. Why is it that so often we feel the need to gauge our success based on the performance of the person next to us, as Leclos had done? What fears do we have that cause us to think that what we are doing is not worthy enough? Are there any metrics to prove that the progress we have made doesn't constitute enough? These notions ring true for nearly everyone, students and teachers alike, and I'm here to challenge that way of thinking. In my ideal world, I would get rid of proficiency and perfection and replace them with simply progress. Of course, we want our students to be successful, well-adjusted, and high achievers, but too often I believe that the way in which we analyze schools and students does not account for progress. Too often our neediest students in schools are seen as, quote, low achieving, and their progress, and even when their progress and growth are incredible. When we neglect the celebration of progress, we are failing to recognize ourselves and our students as whole people with multiple stories to tell. Take a newcomer student of mine as an example. She's from Guatemala. She spent several years with her family, living in a refugee camp, and eventually left her mother and siblings to travel to the U.S. with only her father. She entered my classroom in August with the sole skill of spelling her first name, and incorrectly, might I add. She spent her first days looking at the students around her, like Leclos had done, and I could see it in her eyes that she did not believe she was enough, and it became my mission to prove her wrong. Outsiders looking in, whether it be other staff members, parents, community stakeholders, anyone from any level in education, would see this child as a number on a page that screams at risk, or some variation of the term. They would not be able to see the progress that this child has made emotionally, socially, physically, mentally, and maybe even least important, academically, in our time together. Someone who values proficiency over progress would not have been there to give hugs and praise to the student as she read her first sentence in absolute perfect English without any assistance. They would not have been there to see her give a speech at a wax museum that she wrote and memorized in one of her 3 languages. That number on the page does not account for or celebrate progress, nor does it tell the whole story of who that student is. As an educator, I am a harvester of knowledge from the deepest depths within a student. I am tasked daily with showing that student and the world that the knowledge that we have inside of us is valuable and worthy. It is easy to get stuck in the mindset of, I'm not as good as blank, for both students and teachers. And I'm here to say that as long as we are all moving forward, we certainly are enough. What I would hope that my students, my fellow educators, and the public take from this is that we are all working together in the pursuit of progress. We are not looking to our left or our right to see how we compare to others around us. Our circumstances and our stories are not the same. Together, we can take our neediest students from seemingly possessing not one skill and put them on a trajectory that will progress their lives into greatness. We educators are a community of professionals celebrating the beauty of progress. And in my eyes, community will always be better than competition. Thank you.
At this time, with the 7 finalists, please join us on stage. During the year, these teachers will experience many exciting opportunities as they focus on their mission to improve schools and student performance and the teaching profession.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 2022 Teacher of the Year team.
This concludes tonight's celebration. Please leave your name badge holders at the registration table.
Also, We want to thank each and every one of you on behalf of Randy and I and the department for being here tonight. Support these great teachers. You are great for being here and taking the time to be here, and we think we've got one of the best programs and the best group of teachers there are in the nation. Thank you for coming.